Alright guys, in one of my final videos for this update, I'm going to be showcasing every single new mythic unit. I have them right behind me. Going to be a chill little video here, high quality video. But before we do that guys, I'm trying to become the best Roblox anime YouTuber out there. So if you enjoy the journey and consider subscribing, it'll be highly appreciated. Also in the description, I have a Discord server and I will be doing a giveaway there at 1,000 members for the new battle pass. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, let's go. First unit right here. I forgot her name. I think it's called, Brisket or YoYo. We're going to start up. First off, we're going to do the attack effects, and then we'll do the damage and then whatnot and go through the passive. It's going to be something quick. Don't want to waste your guys' time here. So, starting off, this is level 60 with Blitz, doing 3,000 damage. Here's the attack effects. There's the first one, then upgrading to the first ability. Goes to a bigger AoE, and you see the attack effects one more time. There it is. Pretty cool attack effects, and then last attack turned into circle AoE, and we'll see that one more time when the units come. And yeah, on paper doesn't look too crazy, but we'll look at our passives as well. So there it is, 24,000 at max, 3.6 seconds per attack, 6,000 DPS with Blitz. And then our passives, anytime this unit attacks, it leaves behind a yo-yo where that attack occurs. If a yo-yo already exists, it deletes that yo-yo and replaces it with a new one. And then Town Inside Me, anytime this unit uses meter, gains a 20% damage buff and a 10% range buff for 20 seconds. So that is this. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, that's not that. This ability is called YoYo Follows Up. It consumes 50% of a meter bar to perform attack 4 for 200% of this unit's damage and moves to a placed yo-yo. This leaves a yo-yo where the unit was. So essentially, she'll teleport onto wherever the yo-yo is, and she'll also do 200% damage. And it will consume 50% of the meter. And the passive over here is just saying, I think, either whenever you use that meter, it's when you use this meter, use this ability, use the meter, it's buffed by 20% damage and 10% range for 20 seconds. So if you use it real quick, as you can see, teleports to there, gains a buff for damage and for range. And yeah, that's a pretty cool, unique-ish. I don't really see myself using her, to be honest. There doesn't seem to be any hidden stuff. So, yeah, there's first unit down. Let's get into the second unit. Alright, guys, second unit right here is Gearboy Hunger. Off rip, 0 upgrades, 2.37 thousand, 4.5 seconds per attack, 28.4 range. Here's the attack effects right here. Dash forward, circle, and then into cone. First upgrade goes into full cone, now at 5,000 damage and whatnot. You can look at the damage and whatnot for yourself. And yeah, it's all cone AoE. And then next upgrade goes to even bigger cone AoE. Changes to a little bit different of attack, still cone AoE though, obviously. And then maxed out goes to a circle AoE. This is with marksman, by the way, but the range is still pretty insane. And then for the passives, guys, we have Growing Boy. Starts the match full with full food stacks. Each attack consumes a food stock, making that attack do 40% more damage anytime a food stock is consumed. Gain 1% damage up to 30%. So what it's saying is when this enemy spawns in, it has 20 food stocks. Every time it attacks, it uses a food stock and does 40% more damage. So this 22,000 is not just 22,000. It's 22,000 times 1.4. And it will also get up to 30% more damage, giving a grand total of 70% more damage when using food stocks. And then Greek Cancel. Anytime Greek Cancel is activated, this unit gains 80% damage and minus 10 SPA for 30 seconds. So that's this ability right here. Consumes 50% meter to be buffed. And also Meat consumes meter to recharge food stocks. 1 bar of meter equals 20 food stocks. So if we use this right here, we can't use it because it has to be full meter. And once we use it, it'll go back up to 20 food stocks. We can also use this Greek Cancel to buff him. As you can see, now up to 41,000 damage. And also, as you can see, Meat went down to 0. So it used that bar right there. And it got more food stocks. So now, as you can see, range is actually insane. And also, you cannot forget, about this 40% damage buff. So it's not 42,000, it's 42,000 times 1.4. This is probably one of the more slept on units of the update, as you can't really see some of his damage on paper. And now let's get into the third unit. Alright, so third unit is not good guy free. I have Solar on him. Took 300 rerolls, by the way. Yeah, 300 rerolls. I cannot lie. 300 rerolls. Okay, off rip. 0 upgrade. You can see the stats right here. His attack effects pretty small cone as well. upgrading him to his first attack. Gets a bigger cone, more fiery power and whatnot. Upgrading him to his third ability, goes even bigger cone, even more range. Keep in mind this is Lewis Solar, so a lot more range than normal. And then at max gains another ability. So let's check out his passes real quick. All right, Gatling combo. Attacks inflict burn for 30% of this unit's damage over 5 seconds. Anytime this unit attacks a burning enemy, follows up with attack 1, 4-second local cooldown. PvP only. Upon killing an enemy inflicted with burn, spawn that enemy to your opponent's side. So that's a PvP only. Same ability as Elfetta, I'm pretty sure. Taking enemies to the other side. But yeah, first thing, just burn. And if attacks a burn enemy, will follow up with an attack with a 4-second cooldown, local cooldown. And then Dragon Install. While in Dragon Install, meter gain is reduced to 0% per attack, and gain status effect immunity and debuff immunity. Anytime burn any enemy dies while in Dragon Install, inflicts all enemies in range with burn for 30% of the unit's damage, local 4-second cooldown. And then abilities right here, Hell. Consumes 2 bars of meter to detonate all burns for the remaining DOT in this unit's range. Does not count intense burn. So what this is saying is, if you have everybody in this area and it's burning, it will consume the whole bar up here to instantly release all the damage over time, right? So it's just an instant, as in a sense, nuke. If all these guys were burning and I press this button, they'd all receive the DOT at that moment. And then Dragon Install gains 2% meter per second and cannot build meter in this mode. Gets 150% damage and 30 plus range. So if we click this, let's see it. As you can see, drains 2% meter per second, so does not last for that long, only up until meter goes down all the way, but damage goes up insanely much. And again, DPS here is pretty freaking high, I cannot lie. Again, one of the more OP mythics of this update. And yeah, here's attack effects too, changes a little bit, and again has some passes with the Dragon Install. And then for our last unit, don't want to waste your guys' time too much, we have Kazzy Queen. All right, off rip. Here's her stats, and here's her. It's a line AoE, and attack is kind of that little chomp ice thing forward, and she has some bubbles here too. Gonna upgrade again to a cone AoE. Again, we have ice here. Seems more of an ice theme unit, but it's nature enemy, so you know, interesting there. And upgrading to the third attack, even bigger cone AoE. Seems like cone AoE is something, you know, used a lot here. And as you can see, it does freeze the enemies. And upgrading all the way to the max, we have even bigger cone AoE. Again, cone AoE seems to be the thing here. And yeah, max stats 30,000 every 9.1 seconds, 64.3 range. Again, though, with marksman, and she's at 3 placements. By the way, they're all 3 placements besides the meat guy. That's what I like to call him, the meat guy. But for the unit passives, all right, we have Heaven and Hell. Anytime this unit swaps form, reduces SPA by 20% for 30 seconds, while in Undying form, attacks inflict freeze for 2 seconds and bubble. Bubble causes the next attack the enemy takes to deal 30% more damage, while in Nextro from Kazzy gains 80% damage and attacks inflict burn for 25% of this unit's damage over 6 seconds. If an enemy inflicted with bubbled is hit by Nextro, Kazzy does 160% damage for that attack. And then I use this to go fishing. When this unit attacks, it will spawn a bubble at the nearest possible location on the track. Up 3 bubbles can exist at one time. If an enemy touches the bubble, they get frozen for 2 seconds, inflicted with bubble, and take 100% of the unit's damage. So those are the bubbles we've seen over there. And then abilities, Heaven. Consumes 1 bar meter to cleanse all debuff and status effects from units in this unit's range. So, as you can see here, this is 1 bar, I'm pretty sure. It's over 100%. If you use it, it cleanses everything. And so yeah, consumes 1 bar meter to cleanse all debuffs and status effects from units in this unit's range. So, also very low cooldown, so as long as you get the bar up, then you can use it pretty easily. And then Queen of Man. When pressed, consumes 50% stock of meter to switch between Undying and Nectro. Undying attacks inflict freeze and frozen. So this is Undying right here, but you can switch it to, once we're at 50%, just give us a second. Should be next attack, I think. But yeah, right here, we're in Undying, by the way. And it freezes enemies, and then we switch, and now it changes to a fire type. As you can see, Nectro down there. Attacks inflict burn for 25% of the unit's damage, 160% damage to frozen enemies. So if you time it right, can we do some crazy damage? And again, this is actually some pretty good DPS. And obviously, the marksman range is literally insane. And she cleanses too. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be all for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I think I, maybe spent a little bit too much time on it, but again, I hope you enjoyed the video showcasing all these new mythic units, and at least be able to only buy Ken to showcase, which I probably will not be showcasing because their quests are so bugged, guys. But again, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Join my Discord, join my Roblox group, and I'll see you next one, guys. Peace out.